Dirt roads are the public access to thousands of acres of land throughout the West. And today on At Your Leisure, we're taking a look at one area that has been the center of the fight to keep roads open. I'm Chad Booth.
And I'm Rhea Rossi Booth. We'll introduce you to one former county commissioner that put his reputation on the line to keep public lands accessible throughout the West.
From there, we'll travel to the Bonneville Salt Flats, where another problem is brewing, and the solution is actually rubbing salt in the wounds. On the outdoors right now on At Your Leisure.
Well, Chad, it's a glorious day for a walk down the middle of an unpaved road.
That's right, have some mud on your shoes, Rhea.
Excellent.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to At Your Leisure today. I'm Chad Booth. We are in Kane County on one of the hundreds of roads. And you know, it's been a long time, Rhea, since we've actually done a road show and talked about issues. But if you're going to talk about roads and transportation in counties, and the issues of road and land access, Kane County is the place you've got to be. We are going to meet up with Mark Habishaw, former county commissioner down here in Kane County, who will give us a first-hand look at roads and how important they are to communities. But first, as one of the most road-traveled guys in the county, he's going to show us a little bit about how much opportunity there is for recreation.
We have in excess of 700 dirt roads that the public can enjoy, and they link Kane and Garfield and Washington County and Arizona to astounding recreational opportunities, multiple types of what we're talking about. Some of the best scenery in America's West is right here in Kane County. The personal satisfaction of primarily the roads, but also including the backcountry, is difficult to put into words, but it is a sense of freedom. It's also the physical health that's involved in getting out in the backcountry in various activities, because if you ride a motorcycle, an ATV, you hike, you ride a horse, you mountain bike, you're using your body and your muscles and your brain in a way that's invigorating, and it's challenging to master those types of recreational opportunities. But I used to race the mountain bikes when I was in my late 40s. That's about 25 years ago, and I can't tell you how good it feels to be back honestly pedaling a bicycle in the backcountry. You know, you earn your way more than any other vehicle. So I don't really have a favorite. I kind of switch around. The variety keeps you interested, and they all get you out here, and that's what's important.
Well, as you can see, the roads out here in Kane County are gorgeous, and they're endless. And I'm just doing some exploring on my own here while Chad and Mark are up the road. But right now, we're going to go to see what Steve Heumann is up to, and he is exploring some history in some very remote areas.
Wendover, Utah runs along the Nevada border in the barren lands of the Bonneville Salt Flats. You wouldn't think this area would house some of the most historic buildings in the country, and yet the sounds of war, innovation, and heroism still echo through these hallowed structures.
After Pearl Harbor, Wendover went from a town of 103 to almost 20,000 people, 17,000 military and 2,500 civilians. And it was the training base for the heavy bombers, for the B-17s and the B-24s. And then towards the end of the war, late 44, it became the Manhattan Project site for not only training the crews that dropped the atomic bomb, but they also built 150 prototype atomic weapons here. This is the largest remaining original Army Air Force training base in the country. We have about 90 original structures. We've got the control tower, the dining hall, barracks, the officers club. You can come here and really feel that you've stepped into the past.
Jim Peterson is the director of the airfield, which to this day still gets daily flights into Wendover. He takes me on the base tour that is offered to visitors who want to get a closer look at the history here. There are self-guided driving tours you can take as well, but I wanted to get a more personal look at things.
Part of the reason that we bring people here, first of all, is to just show them the incredible structure.
Well, it's all wood.
Of these hangars. Yeah, it's all wood. So between every single joint, they machined a groove in the wood and then put this ring in so that the next piece of wood over that fits into its groove. This particular model didn't have guns, it had a rocket pod. And it's the first plane that had radar. During the first part of the war, this was a very classified secret device. This allowed our bombardiers to bomb accurately from high altitudes. When they were training here, it was very classified. The bombardier, when he got out of the plane, he put the bomb sight in a bag, brought it to this building, and it would be checked in, and then he'd put it in one of these vaults. We have the original drawings, which were approved in October of '44. By March 1 of '45, this hangar was constructed.
Wow, just that fast.
And the floor in here is, 71 years old. Looks better than my driveway.
There's something about being able to walk in the footsteps of history that, at least for me, alters the experience of learning about the past. When you're here, you can imagine yourself walking side by side with young servicemen, many of whom gave their lives to protect this country. You feel a part of the story as opposed to a footnote, connected to the men and women who quite literally allowed our modern world to be created in the decades after the war. It's humbling and a wonderful experience. Every fall, the Wendover Airfield throws an immense air show, so you can call and set up a tour anytime you want, or come down for the show and see what this place looked like in its heyday.
Many people that come here get the same feeling that I did when I first came here and still do, and that is when you walk through some of these buildings or you climb the control tower and stand on the deck of that control tower, it's exactly like it was back in the war days, and you can really experience and feel the history. At a lot of the museums you can see a lot of airplanes, but standing here in the original buildings and like in the Officers Club that we just got renovated, boy, it's a feeling of stepping back in time. It's really neat.
Well, this has been an amazing experience, and I hope that we've kind of shown you why this is such a special place. Jim, thanks so much for taking me around today.
Oh, absolutely.
Really appreciate
Glad to
it.
have you come.
Well, if you want to find out more information, go to wendoverairbase.com. You can schedule tours like what we've gone on today and experience this amazing piece of history. I really can't say how great this is. You have to come out here yourself, bring your kids, and experience this.
They're here. Ranger XP 1000, the most powerful Ranger ever. General 4, the off-road's most popular new crossover. And Ride Command, connecting you like never before. See the best of 2017. Or grab a great deal on remaining 2016s. Get rebates up to $2,000 during the Polaris factory authorized clearance.
When the road takes you farther than you knew possible, when the world is more beautiful than you've ever seen, when home is more comfortable than it should be, this is when you know you're in Kane County. The perfect mix of rural and urban, culture and adventure. Glendale, Orderville, Kanab, Bigwater, small towns with more to offer than just peace and quiet. Kane County, Utah. Find the new you.
In 1946, Ray City started a business built on exploration and family. He made his customers a promise that they would always find a friend when they walked into a dealership with the name Ray City. Now, 70 years later, that promise is fulfilled every day. We're still all about exploration and family. 70 years is a long time, but we are just getting started. Come in and celebrate our huge anniversary sale. Ray City RV off Riverdale Road in Roy, serving your family since 1946.
Welcome to Castle Country. a land as diverse as its people, and a rural area that relies on responsible use of the land. Here, you will find adventure at every turn. From mountain peaks to sun-swept deserts, Castle Country has it all.
Well, welcome back to At Your Leisure. I'm Darren Kinder, and our product review today is the new Yamaha YXZ 1000 side-by-side. And this is absolutely a pure sport machine. I mean, from the suspension to the engine and everything, this thing is really meant to move. This thing is made for speed. It's got a 998cc motor on it that's an aluminum engine. It's 11.3 to 1 compression ratio, 3 lightweight pistons in it, super smooth, but they've also made that to a sequential 5-speed transmission on it. So you actually have to shift this machine, and it has a clutch. So that's way different than anything else that's out there right now. So the first time you go out, it's going to take a little bit getting used to. Here in the back, we have a trailing arm suspension. We have a 2.5-inch podium shock on this Fox shock. You know, it's fully adjustable, and this has a total of 17 inches of travel in this rear suspension. Now, the other thing to notice when you're back here is, yeah, it has disc brakes on all 4 wheels, but also notice it has a disc brake on the driveline. Now, this is pretty cool. Down here, they've opened up this whole area, so it's really easy to get in here and fix something if you have any problems. Plus, it's also easy to see if you've got any issues because it's all right there and easy to get to. Up here on the top, they've made this removable panel, and then that gives you access to your air filter and also your remote oil reservoir tank, so you can check your oil right there, clean your air filter, and it's all really easy to get to. One of the things I really like about this machine is the fit and finish. It is super clean. You can tell that they've spent a lot of time looking at every little detail on it. The seats are fantastic, nice high backs that are very comfortable. The driver's seat is fully adjustable, comes standard with a plastic hardtop roof on it, and you can see all the fit and finish in the back is all very clean. You have doors on the machine that open normally. Took me a little while to get used to that, but they have slam latches and the handles on the inside of the vehicle. Several of the things on the dash to really point out to you. One is a shift light on, because now you've got a manual transmission, you got to remember to shift, and it has a little light to remind you of that. It can easily go into reverse or forward right through the shifting mechanism. You have on-demand 4-wheel drive, diff lock. It's all extremely easy to use, and everywhere you look, it's really clean. Now up here in the front, you have the AA arm front suspension, the Fox 2.5-inch podium shocks on it, and it still has 16.5 inches of travel up here in the front end. Not to mention, it's got this really, aggressive look to it with 4 headlights in the front. My wife calls this thing the praying mantis. It's an evil praying mantis, mind you, but it's a lot of fun. Well, I want to get this thing out on the trail and go ripping around, but you need to get into Stedman's and check one of these out. They have it in this cool retro yellow color. They also have them in orange and blue and white. I'm Darren Kinder. We'll see you next time.
In a place that is beyond words, there is nothing to be said, except take your time in Bryce Canyon country.
What a great time to get out and ride the ATV and UTV. Summertime's here. However, some of the key things that one can do in order to prevent an accident or an injury on these is to know your machine. Sometimes when you're on an ATV, you have the ability to shift your weight and move around. On a UTV, you're somewhat restricted. Do a couple of things. Read your owner's manual, take an education course, and become familiar with your machine and start slowly. Utah State Parks, adventures for everyone.
Whether you ride mud, rocks, dunes, or trails, Polaris has a razor to match your passion. Unequaled power, unrivaled suspension, unmatched agility, and unbeatable comfort. Everything you need to chase memories and catch them. Find your razor at Polaris.com.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We stop right here, Mark. I like this spot. We are out somewhere in Kane County on the back roads. I'm with my good friend Mark Habishaw. And as modest as he's going to be, he has to take a lot of credit for a lot of the attention that's been paid to roads in this county. How important is a road system to a county?
They actually form the lifeblood of the county. This is a large county, and there are private land holdings. It's important to access federally managed lands. There are state sitless sections, and all those activities need access, and they need motorized access. And our dirt county roads provide that access that's so important to the economy of the county. Our lifestyle and quality of life is very different than that in the Wasatch Front. And that needs to be considered in dealing with issues in a rural county.
So RS 2477 is part of the Mining Act, and it basically was a promise because the federal government couldn't afford to actually build an infrastructure in the West. So they said, if you build a road and you maintain it, we'll give you title to it as your reward for building a road across these lands. Isn't that basically what that was all about?
Well, it is. Since 1866, Revised Statute 2477 offers a title of a right-of-way across federally managed lands as a public highway. That tradition went on for over 100 years, really without much controversy at all. In 1997, however, then Interior Secretary Babbitt passed oppressive regulations that eviscerated RS 2477. That created the controversy that resulted in us removing signs from our county roads that the BLM had placed, obstructing and interfering with free travel on those county roads. And of course the Tribune referred to us as scofflaws and lawbreakers, but we were ultimately vindicated when the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals in an en banc decision completely overturned Federal Judge Tina Campbell's injunction against Kane County. She stated that we had no jurisdiction on any of these roads across federally managed lands without quiet title. 10th Circuit says not so fast. Kane County gets over $500,000 every year from the state from road tax funding to maintain these roads for the benefit of not only local people but tourists as well and the federal government as well. And we need to work closer together than what we have in the past. If you just pictured this land without any roads across it, what would you have? A vast emptiness, really.
Mark, thank you so much for taking your time, not only today to take us out and wander around on these roads, because this has been a lot of fun, but for all the effort you've put in to protect our access on roads. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks, and come down and visit it, and even though I'm not in politics anymore, you're more than welcome to come down and we'll enjoy a day together.
Oh yeah, there's no better days spent. Right now it's time for us to go to our Rocky Mountain ATV MC story of the day, our Trailhead Adventure, and we're pleased that they help us sponsor this segment. Check this out.
Like a lot of races, I don't really understand what's here. We'd come out and race on white salt. Now that's kind of gone away. I don't have any answers, but I've got a lot of questions.
The Bonneville Salt Flats have been a destination for super high-speed racers for more than a century. In fact, the first land speed record was set here in 1914. Now, the flats are the perfect roadway for drivers in search of the 500-mile-per-hour mark, since the salt acts as a natural coolant to tires that would quite literally melt from friction on any other surface. But over the years, racers have begun to notice changes in the texture and amount of salt on this ancient lake bed. It's also come to their attention that the natural track just isn't as flat and as smooth as in years past. And that poses a danger to anyone racing at speeds more than 200 miles per hour. Today, a group of racers, land managers, and public officials have journeyed to this white expanse to discuss what may be causing the problem and to try to rectify it before it's too late.
We have real concerns in Utah's racing community, in fact the racing community throughout the West, on the deteriorating quality of our iconic Bonneville Salt Flats. And so we're anxious as a state to partner with the BLM and with the industry and most importantly with our incredible racing community to see what we can do to help rehabilitate our salt flats and get them back into pristine racing condition.
I have seen a significant change in how hard the salt is, and a couple years back in 2010, I believe, I noticed it more so on the left-hand side of our motorhome. We got a 100-gallon water tank in there, and it just had a little drip on the one side. And after about 3 days, it burned a hole in the salt, and that's when I noticed how close that salt was to that mud layer that we've been seeing today.
The reasons for the changes in salt quality and size are numerous and varied. Potash extraction has impacted the area. So has the freeway. Famous racers like Rick Vesco have spent the last few years studying core samples and the salt thickness. They're trying to determine what cause creates which effect. Evidence of the change in salt crust is readily visible in comparison photographs. These pictures are taken between 1984 and 2014. One of the problems they've discovered has to do with the ditch and culvert system that has been in place now for many decades and changes how water is distributed on the flats.
At 1901 or 2 or something, this was just bare land, nothing here. And the water is what smooths the salt flats. It blows around. But now we got it, it's like a pinball machine. It runs into this, it goes over that road, it goes down there, hits the other. Wherever the wind goes is where the water goes, and it's going to be a fun one to chase down.
The potash is getting extracted, and the salt that goes along with it is depleting the surface here.
Plans currently involve agencies and racers jointly to determine how best to mitigate all of the contributing factors and plot a course for a future where the salt flats remain intact and open to racing. If solutions aren't agreed upon and environmental changes made soon, the racing conditions could deteriorate to the point where the 400-mile-per-hour chasers have to find another location.
People that come from around the world come to visit Bonneville, and they're not car people, they're just tourists. But they come here to visit it and take pictures, and because they know about it. To lose it would just, you just can't put that into words.
We're true racers at heart, and we want to do this bad enough. We're already talking about getting a container and taking our stuff to Australia. We're that serious about it, you know. If there isn't going to be a place for us to run, we're already thinking about Plan B, and Plan B is Australia.
Hopefully, Plan A will succeed in replenishing the salt that has become an icon of Utah and the racing world. From the Trailhead, I'm Terry Wood.
Our Trailhead segment today is sponsored by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Just go to the RockyMountainATVMC.com website.
There's a little place on a Utah map where I was raised, where my heart's at, where the sagebrush grows wild and high, and the stars come out at night. Oh, there ain't nothing like being raised in the basin with a Ute reservation, skiing starvation, that Duchesne County life.
Family time, friend time, your time. You've been thinking about getting a machine, but which one is right for you? An ATV, side-by-side, or dirt bike? Steadman's Recreation has Utah's largest selection of Honda, Polaris, Yamaha, and Beta machines. See them all at Steadman's Recreation in Tooele. Need a tune-up, new tires, or want a winch? Steadman's Service Department can help.
Steadman's Recreation in Tooele. You may think it's 300 miles out here, but remember, it's only 30 miles back.
There's no need to travel far to find that perfect family adventure. Welcome to Utah's Nebo Loop Scenic Byway, 38 miles of winding highway through the southern end of the Wasatch Mountains. Join us in Juad County. It'll change your family forever.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure out here in Kane County. You know, Rhea, I think it's very appropriate that we set out to do on intention a show about county roads, and by providence we end up seeing the road crew out maintaining these county roads.
And look at that beauty, isn't that nice looking?
Well, while the road groomer goes past, we have some other business to attend to, and that's our events calendar.
Coming up in a week and a half at beautiful Sand Hollow, just north of St. George, is the Trail Hero event, and you are going to want to join us for those festivities. It's October 5th through the 8th.
Trail Hero is an organized riding event for ATVers, 4x4 enthusiasts, and outdoor lovers. It's all about giving back to the community and is built around joining together the drive for more access with awareness and appreciation of our existing trail systems.
Day 1 is all about special needs access, while Day 2 focuses on veterans. It will be an amazing way to experience the outdoors and meet some incredible new people along the way.
There are rides that accommodate everything from mild to wild, along with theme days that are meant to provide those less fortunate with the opportunity to explore the great outdoors. We're going to be there, and we hope that you will join us. You can register now at thetrailhero.com. It is going to be a memorable 4 days, that's for sure.
All right, well now we're going to take a look at next week's show.
Well, next week we're celebrating the premiere of our 15th season of At Your Leisure. After 15 years, we're still going strong and bringing your family adventure from all corners of the West and beyond. We'll be celebrating with a bit of soaring, then trying something new on the hunting trail, and finally visiting Iceland and the immense surprises that await visitors. It's the premiere of our 15th season.
Yeah, next week's show looks great. And you know, it was just so much fun to come out here in Kane County and just get on those open roads and just appreciate that they're open.
And they're there.
And they're there, and you can just go and go and go. And
Why climb that road? Because it's there.
That's right. I kept thinking of that song, the Dixie Chicks.
Which
Wide open spaces, room to create your own mistakes.
Well, my mistake, we ought to start looking for some real estate down here.
We should.
This is really an ideal place to live because you're only an hour from St. George, you're only an hour from Lake Powell, and you're only an hour from Bryan Hitt for skiing. So you've got all the seasons and all the bases covered.
And it doesn't matter what age you are, it's a great place to live.
True, we're fresh out of time.
All right. Well, remember, between now and the next time, get on out there and create your own adventure.
At your leisure. Let's go look for houses.
That is a very, very nice little unit there.
Hi, I'm Chad Booth from At Your Leisure. I hope you just enjoyed the YouTube video that you just watched. Now, remember, we come up with new videos like this every single week, so you might want to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss a single story that we have out. Now, you can also share us with all of your friends on social media. Here's how to do it right here, and that way they can have fun too. If you want detailed information, we of course have our website, ayltv.com, and from there you can find out which television stations we broadcast on, so you never have to spend a day without your fix of family-oriented outdoor recreation adventure. Plus, don't forget we have really cool contests.